This week's episode of Heartland took us on an emotional ride. The Hudson Farmers Market became a battleground for Heartland and Pryce Beef. But the real stakes were in the lessons learned outside the rivalry. Lyndy's disappearance sent shockwaves through the family, reminding everyone what truly matters. While Shane faced life-changing news, Logan stepped into a new chapter, and Katie struggled with the fallout from her actions. Ready to dive in? Then keep on listening to this recap of Heartland Season 18, Episode 8. This week's episode kicked off with a dramatic twist, a flash forward where Lyndy went missing at the Hudson Farmers Market. And this tense sequence set the stage for the episode, because right after, we flashed back to one day earlier and the events that led to Lyndy's disappearance. At the start of the episode, we found out that Heartland Beef had secured the exclusive rights to sell burgers at the Hudson Farmers Market, and Lou pulled the whole family into the effort. But what started as a way to promote Heartland Beef and showcase their new bison venture once again turned into a rivalry with Pryce Beef that brought out the worst in everyone involved. With Jack manning the grill, Tim mingling with the market-goers, Shane on hand to assist, and even Lyndy tagging along to help, the day was set to be a family affair. However, the excitement quickly turned sour when Tim went to drum up business and discovered that the reason they weren't getting any customers was that Nathan Pryce had set up a booth of his own at the other end of the market, giving away his Pryce Beef burgers for free. But Nathan's move wasn't just about generosity. It was a direct response to Heartland stealing Crown shoppers out from under him, and he wasn't about to go down without a fight. And, since he drew the crowd away from Heartland's stand, it left Lou fuming. Lou, livid at Nathan's underhanded tactic, confronted him. He smugly pointed out that giving away food didn't violate the exclusivity clause, and used the moment to jab at Lou for Heartland's role in Pryce Beef losing the Crown shoppers contract. But instead of letting Nathan have his win, the exchange only fueled Lou's competitive fire. So, determined to outdo Nathan, Lou declared to the crowd gathered around Nathan's tent that Heartland would also be giving away free beef and bison burgers, along with steaks and corn on the cob. And the announcement worked, of course. Customers flocked to Heartland's booth, leaving Nathan's tent virtually empty, while Lou, Jack, Tim, and Shane scrambled to keep up with the demand. Despite the chaos, Heartland was reclaiming the market, at least until things took a dramatic turn. At the start of the day, Lyndy was eager to help her family at the tent, but her enthusiasm was met with gentle dismissals, so Lyndy started to feel left out and ignored. And as the market heated up and tensions ran high, Lyndy saw Jack and Tim bicker and the adults being consumed by their rivalry, which made Lyndy sad, so she quietly wandered off. And Lyndy's disappearance was finally what brought the family's competitive antics to a halt as panic set in. The frantic search for Lyndy was a stark reminder of how far the rivalry had gone and how it had distracted everyone from what truly mattered. Lou even put her dislike aside and asked Nathan to look out for Lyndy, while Lou, Jack, Shane, and Tim searched the market. Amy rushed to town from the ranch, where she was helping Logan with his first clinic, and even the police were brought in to assist. Amy, deeply upset, confronted Lou about allowing her feud with Nathan to overshadow her responsibility to watch over Lyndy. And Lou, already guilt-ridden, had no defense as Amy's words struck a painful chord. In the end, Nathan was the one who found Lyndy on the swings at the nearby playground. Earlier in the day, after Lou didn't have any burgers to spare when Lyndy asked for one, she went to Nathan's tent for a burger and invited Nathan to the playground to swing with her, since she thought he looked sad too, now that there were barely any people at his tent because of Lou. Nathan declined Lyndy's offer, but something during that exchange must have stuck, because when Lyndy went missing, the park's playground was where he looked and ultimately found the little girl sitting quietly on a swing. Everyone was grateful for Lyndy turning up safe and sound. And when Amy asked her daughter why she had wandered off after hugging the living daylights out of Lyndy, she admitted that she didn't think anyone would notice her absence because everyone had been so busy fighting. Lyndy's words seemed to be a wake-up call for the family members, who realized just how deeply their actions and skewed priorities had affected those around them. Amy apologized to Lou for her earlier harshness, but Lou admitted she deserved it, acknowledging her role in the day's events. Yet, the real change came when Jack, who had been a reluctant participant in the feud from the start, took it upon himself to try and mend fences with Nathan. Jack drove to Nathan's ranch and proposed that they put their differences aside and have a neighborly conversation to resolve their issues. And while Nathan acknowledged Jack's point, he wasn't quite ready to let go of the tension, citing the complexity of their situation and promising to think about it. However, although Jack hadn't managed to resolve the tension between Pryce Beef and Heartland just yet, Jack's olive branch did end up bringing Amy and Nathan back together again. When the family returned home from the farmer's market, Lou told Amy that Jack had gone to Nathan's. Worried that Jack went there to lay blame on Nathan for Lyndy's disappearance, Amy rushed over, only to find Jack proposing peace talks between the two families. So, when Jack left, Amy and Nathan ended up talking about how the breakup had been hard on both of them while Amy helped Nathan set up for dinner. And at Nathan's dad's request, Amy even ended up joining them for dinner, with Nathan commenting that Amy's stuck there now, and Amy replying that there are worse places to watch the sunset from. Despite the chaos, tension, and worry of the day, it looks like Lyndy's disappearance might have inadvertently helped bring the two families on the path of reconciliation, and, therefore, Amy and Nathan back toward the possibility of a relationship. Which means that, hopefully, in the last 2 episodes of the season, we will see both families make strides towards bettering their relationship, which could lead to Amy and Nathan finally getting a real shot at a romance. Shane's unexpected visit to Heartland added another emotional layer to the episode as he grappled with life-changing decisions and found himself at a crossroads between his career ambitions and his family. When Tim returned home, he surprised everyone by bringing Shane along. Shane had received a prestigious offer to become a partner at a prominent law firm in Philadelphia, a position that promised professional success but came with the cost of long hours and less time for his personal life. So, before making such a monumental decision and possibly getting even more busy than he already is, Shane decided to visit Heartland to clear his head and seek his family's advice. At first, Shane seemed excited about the partnership, but there was some hesitation on his part too. Shane confided in Tim that while the offer was incredible, he was concerned about the impact it would have on his relationship with his wife, Chloe, and their plans for their future. He even admitted that he hadn't accepted the offer yet because he wasn't sure if he could juggle the demands of such a high-powered position while maintaining a healthy work-life balance. At the farmer's market, Shane pitched in as best he could, but the real drama happened after Shane stepped away to take a call. Moments later, Shane collapsed on the sidewalk, alarming Tim, Lou, and Jack. When he regained consciousness and paramedics deemed him okay, albeit possibly suffering from heat exhaustion, Shane revealed to his dad that his fainting spell might have less to do with the heat and more to do with the shocking news Chloe had shared during the call. She was pregnant. Shane was thrilled yet overwhelmed by the news. He admitted to Tim that while he loved Chloe and was excited about becoming a father, he didn't feel ready. He confessed that the idea of starting a family had always been part of their future plan, but it was happening sooner than expected. And the offer from the law firm on top of it all created a swirl of doubt in his mind about whether he could handle both. So, in one of the episode's most heartfelt moments, Tim offered Shane some fatherly wisdom. Reflecting on his own past experiences with starting a family, Tim acknowledged that having children is never perfectly timed and always comes with uncertainties. However, he assured Shane that choosing family over career is a decision he would never regret. And Tim's advice seemed to resonate with Shane, because at the end of the episode, Shane decided to turn down the partnership offer, opting to prioritize his family and the chance to be a hands-on father instead. Shane even admitted that now that he had made his decision to turn down the new job, not only was Chloe relieved, but also that all the things seemed to slot into place in his life, once again proving that putting family first is never the wrong move. Speaking of Tim, We also had an interesting storyline with him in this episode about him keeping a secret from Jack, which, as expected, stirred up drama within the family once Tim's secret came out. In the previous episode, Tim was offered an exciting role as an on-air host for a sports network covering major rodeo events. But he had to fly to Dallas to audition for the position. And while he was conflicted about the opportunity at first, and Jack did not want Tim to even entertain it, at the end of last episode, we saw Tim agree to go to Dallas. But, as we found out at the beginning of this episode, he had lied to the family about where he was going, telling them that he went to Stavely instead of flying to Dallas. Amy was first to pick up on Tim's deception, confronting her dad about lying to Jack in the barn. Tim told her about the audition in Dallas. The network had offered Tim the gig, and he had decided not to move to Dallas full-time, but to fly back and forth for the rodeos. Understandably, Amy was a little confused about how that was going to work, seeing that there was a rodeo every weekend, and he would also have to balance the new gig with their cattle business, the rodeo school, not to mention finding time for his wife, Jessica. But Tim was so ecstatic about the network's treatment of him in Dallas that he wanted to believe that it would all work out. But then why did Tim lie to Jack about going to Dallas? Amy had the same question. Tim, of course, alleged that he just wanted to find the right time to tell Jack about the new gig, seeing how Jack didn't like it. So, Amy left it alone after warning Tim not to wait too long, because she was sure that Jack could tell that something was up as well. However, his secret started to unravel sooner than Tim hoped when Shane inadvertently mentioned Tim's new fancy white hat from Dallas, a gift from the network, during an argument between Tim and Jack at the farmer's market. The timing couldn't have been worse. Jack, already frustrated with Tim's sometimes erratic priorities, was not happy with the revelation. He accused Tim of putting his personal ambitions above the family and their business, reigniting old tensions between the two. Tim, on the other hand, tried to defend himself, insisting that the job was an incredible opportunity to get back into the world of rodeo, even if it meant some juggling. But then Shane passed out, and the argument between Tim and Jack was put on hold. And after Shane told him about the pregnancy, Tim had some time to get some additional perspective on the value of family and being present for the ones he loved. So, by the episode's end, Tim seemed to be at a crossroads. Although he had already accepted the job, his heart-to-heart with Shane and Jack's comment about Tim needing to listen to his own advice seemed to have left Tim contemplating whether fame and success were worth the potential cost of neglecting his family's needs. While the market drama unfolded, Amy stayed back at Heartland to support Logan in his first colt starting clinic. And it was so great seeing Logan's colt starting journey continue to unfold in this episode. As the day began, Logan was visibly nervous but determined. Amy, ever the supportive mentor, offered him advice on how to best handle the clinic, reminding him to trust his instincts and take things one step at a time. Despite his preparation and his best efforts to advertise, Logan faced an unexpected challenge. Only one person showed up for the clinic: Riley with his horse, Axel. Logan was disappointed, but he resolved to make the best of the situation by helping Riley and Axel. Logan began the session by working on groundwork with Axel, and then quickly moved to get in the saddle. Amy suggested that Logan take his time with the groundwork, but Logan, feeling the need to prove himself and improve his speed, opted to move forward more quickly. Later, Logan did admit to Amy that he might have rushed things, to which Amy told him to take it easy on himself because he was still hurting from his breakup with Miley and that he needed a win. So, with this new determination and self-reflection in mind, Logan had a hunch that Axel's discomfort might stem from an ill-fitting saddle. And Riley confirmed that he recently had to replace Axel's old saddle with a cheaper one after selling the original to help his family stay afloat financially. Logan's empathy shone through as he offered practical solutions, including giving Riley the names of places that sell cheaper, second-hand equipment, and lending Riley the saddle from Heartland until he can buy a better one. But beyond the challenge of figuring out what's wrong with Axel, Logan's clinic also became a place for deeper conversation as Riley confided in Logan about his struggles to provide for his family and the tension it had created in his marriage, especially after they bought their own land and struggled to make it work. Logan, in turn, saw parallels between Riley's situation and his own life and his recent breakup with Miley. He realized that his initial drive to compete in colt starting competitions had been more about impressing Miley than pursuing his own passion. And this insight led to Logan making a decision. He resolved to continue on the colt starting competition circuit, but this time for himself, not for anyone else. Amy's encouragement and support of the decision played a pivotal role in Logan's decision as well, since she praised his natural ability not just to work with horses, but to connect with people too. So, by the end of the episode, Logan had not only helped Riley and Axel find their way back to each other, but had also taken significant steps toward finding his own path. The final storyline of this episode was all about Katie and how she continued to grapple with the fallout from her dishonesty with Jasmine. Katie found herself still reeling from getting grounded and barred from attending the writing class. Lou, while firm in her choice of punishment, was also trying to find the balance between being a disciplinarian and understanding Katie's perspective. But it was hard for Katie to see Lou as anything else but that. So, while most of the family headed to the farmer's market, Katie stayed home, claiming she was on a roll with her writing. In the privacy of her room, however, Katie was having trouble concentrating because she had texted Jasmine multiple times, apologizing for the way things had unfolded and asking to meet up, but received no response. And the more time passed without a reply from Jasmine, the more Katie's guilt increased, which pushed her to make a bold move. Determined to set things right with Jasmine, Katie snuck out of the house, hopped on her dirt bike, and went to town to apologize in person. And the meeting was understandably tense. Jasmine expressed her hurt and disappointment over Katie's dishonesty, while Katie, visibly remorseful, explained how much it meant to her to be seen as an equal in the class and how she'd felt empowered when Jasmine assumed she was older. While understanding where Katie was coming from, Jasmine made it clear to her that the initial trust was broken by Katie's lie, and therefore they couldn't continue their friendship. She, however, did encourage Katie to keep writing and advised her to stay true to herself. Devastated, Katie returned home, and when Lou got back from the farmer's market and went to check on Katie, the two finally had a real conversation. Recognizing her own shortcomings after the whole Lyndy ordeal, Lou admitted that her preoccupation with work had left Katie feeling unsupported, which might have contributed to her decision to lie. And while Lou maintained that what Katie did was wrong, she acknowledged that she also bore some responsibility for the disconnect between them. Lou even told her daughter that Katie had learned her lesson and could return to Jasmine's writing class. But Katie had to reveal that Jasmine had cut ties with her, and therefore probably doesn't want Katie in her writing class anymore. And Katie also told her mom about her resolve to leave Heartland behind and pursue her dreams in Vancouver. This episode truly highlighted the consequences of misplaced priorities, forcing characters to reevaluate what truly matters. From the chaos of the farmers' market rivalry to heartfelt revelations about family and personal growth, the episode was a roller coaster of both emotions and events. What did you think of the episode? Do you think a true reconciliation can be reached between Heartland and Pryce Beef? And if so, how will that impact Amy's relationship with Nathan? Will Logan find success on the colt starting circuit? And what's next for Katie? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you back here next week for another recap.